Hi there everyone, it's Misty here from TheJollyFatElf. Happy Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining me. In today's video, I am coloring up the image of Rose in her arrival outfit. If you've seen the movie, we all know that scene where she steps out of the car or whatever she was in, and we see her walk out in this beautiful hat and this beautiful dress. And so that's what I'm recreating here today. To be honest, I haven't seen this movie since it came out. I think I mentioned that. So I had to go back and look for some photos of what I'm coloring today and then what you'll see on Friday. And of course, back then we didn't have high definition. We barely had standard definition. So my colors may be a little off, but I got them as close as I could. She was wearing a purple pinstriped. It was white with purple pinstripes, her dress type thing. I did do one where the stripes were on it and I just didn't like the look of it, so I recolored her. But the purple and the hat and then I just love it. You guys, if you didn't know, my favorite color is purple. So I am using V9, V17, and V15, I believe. And then R_0 and E_0 for anything that is supposed to be white. And I'm coloring the umbrella, and I colored her kind of undershirt, etc. with the purples. For the skin, I'm doing 21, 51, and 50. Kate Winslet, even now, is very pale because I believe she's a natural redhead. So I wanted to make sure that I kept her as light and pale. And plus, she was clearly either about to be rich or about to marry rich. And so she wouldn't have had much of a tan, because I believe back then that if you looked, darker, that meant you weren't high society or whatever. For her hair, I'm using E19, E09. I just used two colors since there's not much. But again, I believe she's red in the movie. I could be wrong, but I wanted to get it as close as possible, you guys. So if you missed it, I thought Monday's card was hilarious. And I couldn't figure out what to title it, so I ended up changing the title. And now that I've added the thumbnail with the actual card picture on it, maybe that video will get a few more views. But yeah, so this one is like the complete opposite of Monday, and then Friday is the complete opposite of the first two. And I think that just goes to the versatility of Stamp Anything stamps. Because they can really be, even though this is themed around the Titanic, you don't have to use these in that manner. They could be, anyone you want them to be. For the luggage, I initially started with a cool tone brown and I didn't like the way it was working out. So this is, I believe, E27 and E25. I might have brought in some E23 as well. Sorry, I didn't write down the numbers for this one, but I did write down the numbers for Friday, so I'm trying. Now, for the hat box, I went purple because I thought, possibly a hat box would reflect the color of the hat on the inside of it. And since we didn't see her in a hat any other time, I don't believe, I went ahead and went with purple. For the last trunk, I colored it just a light color. I also did all of the quote-unquote leather and metal embellishments on it. And then I'm going to come back in with the gold gel pen and go over everything with that is like a strap, etc. So I hope you're doing well. If you haven't already, I'm going to remind you in every video, so bear with me. Consider joining my newsletter. It is linked down below. I have a huge announcement coming in just a few short weeks, and I want to make sure that you hear it straight from me. So I decided to use the staircase die, and I know this is not what she's wearing when she comes down to dinner, but I really wanted, I had this idea in my head when I first saw the stamp set, kind of like Monday's card, and I knew I wanted to make it happen. So while this isn't her in the dress coming down, she is looking very high society, and I figured that this would be a really beautiful kind of image to go with this die. Now, to be quite honest, I went and looked up the actual set, the inside, the interior of the boat, and it was all wood. And so that's why I went with this brown. Now, I wanted the steps to have like a gold runner, I guess you could say, or like the front of every step to be gold. So I'm using that same gold gel pen, and I'm just going every other groove and I'm coloring it in. Now you can't see the color per se, and I probably could have used like a shimmer pen for this, but there is a little bit of reflection you can see here, especially when you tilt the card left and right or up and down, however you tilt it. But I love it. And this is just a piece of gold glitter paper that I've had. If you watch my holiday card series like 3 years ago now, I mass produced a bunch of Christmas tree cards with gold glitter paper, and this is some of that that's left over. I don't know why I left in so much of this, but we're going to watch it because I don't want to have to edit it again. I hope you're doing well. It is February 12th, so we're getting close to Valentine's Day. Rob and I did a huge grocery shopping trip on Monday. We used to do it a bit more often. We went to Sam's and we spent like $700 on meat. But we also went to Home Depot and Lowe's, and then the flooring store, and then back to Lowe's, and then home. And then I had to vacuum seal everything. And then the next day I made 4 pot roasts and I dashed 7 pounds of potatoes. And so today I'm like, this is a day of rest. I can barely move today. So yeah, I am bringing in this gorgeous paper that B sent me. She and I did a pattern paper swap where I sent her a bunch of my pattern paper and she sent me some as well. And while I wanted to keep this pattern for myself, I just thought it went beautifully with this card. You can see here that I ended up adding some washi tape to hold down that glitter paper. I was having a hard time keeping it attached no matter what kind of glue I was using. So that helped. And then of course I got it glued down. I'm using some Scotch mounting foam for the back of her, and I'm going to do the same thing for the luggage. And you can see here, I'm like, why won't this stick? I finally got it to stick though. I'm just cutting off the extra off the bottom, and then I'm going to get them adhered, and I'm going to end up cutting off the sides of the staircase. And once I do that, then this card is done. So thank you so much for joining me today, friends. I really do appreciate you. So something completely different from Monday's card, which I find to be the funniest card I've probably ever made in my life, to this one, which I feel like is more elegant and gorgeous. And I just love her on this staircase. I guess because it reminds me of like the Great Gatsby, and these were kind of in similar time frames. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you'll consider subscribing if you haven't already. This release, I think, sold out, but I will have everything listed down below. Make sure you hit the notify me if it comes back in stock. That tells Kevin and Ann that you want the stamp set so they can order more. All right, friends, I love y'all faces, and I'll see you Friday for another video. Bye for now.